If Kylian Mbappe doesn't go to Real Madrid this summer, I'll shave my head bald.
Mm-hmm.
I'll shave my head bald. It's clear as day. Top 5 of the Ballon d'Or that we believe can win it in 2024. It's a very hard list to do. Don't forget to like this video. But obviously, I'm going to start by saying Kylian Mbappe can win the next Ballon d'Or. In fact, I think he must win. PSG got to go bold in the Champions League. I think they're going to go through against Real Sociedad. And if they go against an Arsenal, I agree with Jamie Carragher. It's going to be Arsenal or more favorites. But PSG's got to do better because he's going to a great team like Real Madrid. Mbappe will have to show up. And Mbappe, no doubt in my mind, is the most talented player in this generation right now. In the next 5 years, I do not see a player more talented right now, and the right move to Real Madrid is gonna happen. Real Madrid are going to assemble the best squad in the world when it's the prime era of the Premier League. It's not the La Liga prime, it's the Real Madrid assembling prime that is going to be dominant against any team in the world of football. The attack of Rodri, Jude Bellingham, Vinicius, and Kylian Mbappe. Scary scenes for the next decade. Scary.
Yep.
Scary. Oh
I will wait until I see that Kylian Mbappe jersey, in the jersey introduction, juggling in the Bernabeu to the applause of 80,000 plus people.
Let's do it like this, Breton.
We see this happen.
If Kylian Mbappe,
go ahead.
if Kylian Mbappe doesn't go to Real Madrid this summer, I'll shave my head bald. I'll shave my head bald. It's clear as day. I'm not gonna say it for Xabi Alonso going to Liverpool, but if Xabi Alonso, if Mbappe doesn't go to Real Madrid, I think it's just a fact, mate. I think it's just a fact, but I could be wrong.
Well, you could be wrong. Well, you must really want to shave your head because the ink ain't even dry yet, and there's a lot of submarining that can happen here. We don't yet know. We haven't really gotten a full, unobstructed statement from PSG brass, right? They could do anything they want to try and submarine this thing. It doesn't mean that he won't still necessarily sign with Real Madrid, but for PSG to not get any compensation back for this, aside from a astronomical amount back on the wage bill, but for them not to get anything necessarily, it's gonna be interesting. I think there's more. I think there's more drama to come around the Kylian Mbappe signing. Now, I think you're right. You don't have to shave your head. I think he will wind up at Real Madrid, and I'm going to say it. I think Kylian Mbappe is going to have to be at Real Madrid to actually win a Ballon d'Or this particular year, 2024. That's why I have him ranked second on my favorites right now to win it. But Kylian Mbappe is Kylian Mbappe. I mean, he's got the real interesting thing here, Alex, is that he has no Euro goals to his name, right? It's all going to come down to, we know he's done it at the World Cup. We know he's been, scored a hat trick in the final. He's also he's lifted the trophy in the World Cup. But Kylian Mbappe has not scored a Euro goal, if I'm not mistaken. So there's a lot of catching up to do. If he ever wants to be, I don't know, better than a Cristiano Ronaldo, who's at the top of all-time Euro goals scored, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right? And you might also recall that the last memory we have of Kylian Mbappe in a Euro tournament was him missing the penalty kick to Jan Sommer for Switzerland to kick him out in the knockout rounds of it. So there's a lot of, not to kind of, throw out the astronomical cards, right? The oh my gosh, I'm going to send some juju Kylian Mbappe's way, send him in a different direction, make it so that France is not going to win this thing. But you might recall that my prediction is we're going to have an upstart winner of the Euros this season, in 2024. I don't think it's going to be one of the favorites, France, England, which who the only person that likely helps in the Ballon d'Or top 5 is Erling Haaland, because Erling Haaland cannot win the Ballon d'Or. Without Norway, without a lack of international tournament.
I think
any
he can
given
if
Ballon
he
d'Or
wins the Man City back-to-back Champions League.
Hell no.
So imagine. I'll ask you this, Breton. Man City win the Champions League with Erling Haaland. France win the Euros with Kylian Mbappe. Who wins the Ballon d'Or?
Yep. France wins the Euros with Kylian Mbappe. Kylian Mbappe.
Even though like a PSG's eliminated in the quarterfinals of the Champions League, Kylian Mbappe still wins it.
I mean, based on the Messi decision last season, it seems to me international competition is weighted a whole lot more.
Interesting.
When it comes to these things. And Erling Haaland, I mean, Erling Haaland didn't exactly light up the Champions League knockout rounds to win the last Champions League, but they did win the flippin' treble.
True.
And he did set Premier League records from you. I just don't see it. If he couldn't get it last season, when obviously the World Cup that takes a whole lot more precedence, but a lot of people say it's World Cup and then it's the Euros in terms of highest international tournament. So I think if Kylian Mbappe wins the Euros with France, he's favorite. If Jude Bellingham or Harry Kane win the Euros with England, boom, they're skyrocketing to the favorites. I think it's going to be something like Spain winning or Netherlands. I think it's going to be something crazy like that. Not that that's crazy historically speaking, but yeah. That's my top 5, Alex. I've got on fifth. I've actually got Antoine Griezmann in 5th. Just because I didn't want to put any more Manchester City players. I'm sorry. I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed that they're Rodri couldn't make top 3 last season. Then we're probably not going to see him top 5 this season. It's that simple.
Oh.
Antoine Griezmann 5, Erling Haaland 4. And I've got, where's my 3? Harry Kane is 3, Kylian Mbappe is 2, and my current favorite for the Ballon d'Or is Jude Bellingham.
If Harry Kane's trophyless, which I believe there's a high chance that to happen, I'm not going to put him in the top 5. And he might have all the goals, all the assists. I know it's 28 goals and 8 assists right now, but if he doesn't win the trophy at Bayern Munich, I put 5 players ahead of Harry Kane right now. Jude Bellingham, Kylian Mbappe, Erling Haaland, Rodri, and obviously a Kevin De Bruyne too. Like, I'm sorry, Kane. You need to get the trophy. And in the Champions League too, it was the first loss of Bayern Munich to an Italian team in 13 years, right? Like, that cannot happen in the Champions League. Harry Kane needs to do better. A top-class player in a world-class position that costs more than 100 million to a team like Bayern Munich that is all about the fans and all about the finance too. You got to do better.
Yep.
You got to do better. Yep. The Bavarian era needs to do better with this, okay? And Thomas Tuchel cannot be doing such a poor job as he is. So your top 5, quite interesting, Breton. Quite interesting in my view.
36 goal involvements in like 28 games this season. He's got to do better. It's pretty crazy. And
because
7 goal
did he score against Leverkusen?
No, he did not.
Did he score against Lazio?
No, he did not. There's still a second leg. But
how many shots did they have on target? 1. He's got to do better.
I'm with you.
He's got to do better in these games. I think he had like hat tricks, a lot of matches that he was phenomenal. But there's moments that you got to be phenomenal. I think that's the difference.
We also have to look at the progression of Harry Kane on an international level, and he has been doing it for England. So England coming off that final loss to Europe, they're going to have unfinished business. And I don't think either of these English players win, Harry Kane or Jude Bellingham, if England don't go incredibly far in the Euros. And if they don't win it, it's going to be tough. Unless Real Madrid wins a they're still in the Copa del Rey, right?
I agree. Yes.
Yeah.
They have to win the Champions League. No, the Atletico de Madrid on the Copa del Rey.
Yeah. So
Griezmann. It goes with the argument of Griezmann. Interesting. Yeah. I think it's an interesting debate.
Griezmann, because of France, if you're taking an odds-on favorite still to win this, although I don't necessarily feel that way, and what he has meant. What he has meant to France in the last few Euro tournament, last few World Cups, you could argue that he has been every bit as important as Kylian Mbappe, and maybe even more important in some respects because he's been asked to do and play different roles. Antoine Griezmann, we got to remember, was a Golden Boot winner not last Euros, but the Euro before that.
True.
And this guy's been doing it for a long time, and he's going to be the reason why France gets this done. I mean, Kylian Mbappe too, don't get me wrong. But on paper, there's no doubt that they're heading into this tournament eking out just a little bit on paper talent in their roster. France is the favorites. England is second for me. Portugal is third.
I think it's an interesting debate completely. I put my favorite towards My favorite towards winning the Ballon d'Or, it's a very bold statement right now. Kylian Mbappe. I think he wins the Euros. Mas bora lá Portugal.
Wow.
In second, I put Jude Bellingham. In third, I put Erling Haaland. In fourth, I'm going to put a player that's never been in the top 5, and it's disrespectful. Vinicius Junior. I rate him to be in the 4th place because Real Madrid are going to go bold in the Champions League. And I put 5th, Kevin De Bruyne. I'm so sorry, Rodri, not to put you in the top 5. But De Bruyne's assist and the greatness that we see with the duo with Haaland, it's very, very, very bold. And Jude Bellingham, no doubt in my mind, has been the best midfielder in the world this season. I think Kevin De Bruyne has been injured a lot of the season, but still, it's a great discussion that we might see. A Real Madrid against a Man City in the semi-finals. I'm leaning towards, with Courtois, with Eder Militão, maybe Real Madrid win in the Santiago Bernabeu. But we're definitely going to see history in the making. Ancelotti versus Guardiola. Jude Bellingham versus Haaland. Vinicius Junior versus Doku, the Grealish, you never know. Bernardo Silva in the sense. But it's going to be a good one.
It is going to be one for the ages. That's for sure. But you're saying here... I mean, De Bruyne with Belgium, you're saying that they have a chance in Euros?
I think Man City more than Belgium. I think Belgium are going to do a very good run in the Euros. Tedesco hasn't lost any match still. Artur Vermaeren's a young gun there. Johan Bakayoko's a young gun there. Doku, another young gun. So Mandela Keita. I like a lot of the players that are right there. So I think they could impress. I think they could impress Belgium. But it's more on what Man City are going to do that I rate Kevin De Bruyne being in the top 5. He's the greatest midfielder I've ever seen in the Premier League. He's a top 5 player in the world, 100%. And Vini Jr. Vini Jr. is consistently disrespected in FIFA, the best in the Ballon d'Or. It's got to be over. And I think he has that ambition to be the best player in the world. The goal against Girona, 50 Champions League games right now, 17 goals, 20 assists. He's chasing the 42 assists of Cristiano Ronaldo. He wants to achieve greatness, and he will. At 23 at Real Madrid with 247 games. That is mad.
But will Brazil overcome Argentina and Uruguay to win the Copa America in the States?
No.
Yeah,
they won't.
Exactly.
They won't.
So it all comes down to Real Madrid here. And that's the thing, is we're dealing with an international type of window. And that plays, if you look back at the history, it plays massively in the waiting, right? And I don't know. I'm trying to think of other possibilities of when that has pushed somebody over the top. But it is Cannavaro, right? Cannavaro, Real Madrid in Italy. What was that, 2006? Is that when he won the Ballon d'Or?
Yep.
I think so. So it really is interesting. It really comes down to Euros and Copa America. And I do have to bring it up, right? This could be the last season that we see a Leo Messi, obviously, in the top 3. But also, is there a chance that Leo Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo can run it back? And what would it take? We know what it would take for Ronaldo. Ronaldo's already delivered 50 goals. And depending on who you ask, somebody says, oh, that's nothing because it's in the Saudi Pro League. And others say it's everything because he's Cristiano Ronaldo and he's 38 or 39 and he's doing it and he's, beating Father Time.
It's the top goal scorer of the Euro qualifiers.
That's exactly right. But it doesn't matter unless he does it in the Euros, right? You have to say that. That is the only way Cristiano Ronaldo winds up in the top 3 Ballon d'Or is if he wins Golden Boot or Golden Ball at the Euros.
He won't finish top 3 of the Ballon d'Or, Cristiano Ronaldo, nor Messi should.
There's no chance.
If he's playing in the MLS, he shouldn't. Neymar is the last player to finish top 10 in the Ballon d'Or out of Europe. I'm sorry. Obviously, after the Messi award. But, it shouldn't happen. Since last season, Messi won it, and he was the first to win the Ballon d'Or. Okay, but before that happening, Neymar was the last one. It can't happen. I'm sorry. If that happens, if the top 3 of the Ballon d'Or has Messi again, I'll be shook. I'll be shook, Breton. Even if they win the Copa America, I'll still be shook with Jude Bellingham, Mbappe, Haaland. But I want to just say on Haaland one last thing on my sense. Erling Haaland has the potential to be the best striker in the next 5 years in football. That is a special period of time that he can achieve greatness. 40 Champions League goals right now. And Erling Haaland was the top goal scorer in one season in the Premier League and was the top goal scorer of the Champions League too. If he does this consistently, he will be perceived as one of the best strikers ever ever in the history of football. So that's what I think can be the greatness of Haaland, becoming the best striker ever. But it might not be enough when you have Kylian Mbappe in the same generation, especially at Real Madrid, and especially with a Jude Bellingham there and a Vinicius Junior too. It's going to be the best team in the world.
And that's the insanity of it all, right? Erling Haaland, for me, there's no way in heck that Erling Haaland wins a 2024 Ballon d'Or, right? There's no way. Unless France, England, Belgium, Argentina, Brazil, unless they all lose their respective international tournaments, there's no way Erling Haaland gets it done. Now, you then look into the future and you say, when is Erling Haaland going to be able to do that? Well, in 2025, if Kylian Mbappe is joining Real Madrid, that would be the year, man. There's no international tournaments to deal with. That's the year for Erling Haaland. You go crazy, Erling Haaland. You score 50 goals in 50 games in that particular season, then you've got a shot. But Kylian Mbappe is going to be out Real Madrid with the flippin' Avengers behind him. So I don't know how it gets done for Erling Haaland, but there is no doubt that he's one of the purest goal scorers that this game has seen in a long time. So I don't know, man. It's crazy. And poor Rodri in all of this. Poor Rodri in all of this. Exactly. He's been an Iron Man for Spain. He's been an Iron Man for Manchester City. I mean, Manchester City still has not lost with him. I don't even know what the count is up to. But if he couldn't sniff the top 3 last season, I don't know how you're doing it this season, Rodri. I don't know how you're going to get and he already knows. Like, he's already accepted that reality.
Spain has to win the Euros, and he's got to win the Champions League again. So it's going to be quite difficult. And with a goal in the final, that would be the cherry on top of the cake. But let us know down below. Do you agree? Do you disagree with our top 5s? Yes.
Yeah. Last thing I just want to bring up is Jude Bellingham, Harry Kane. I mean, an Englishman winning the Ballon d'Or is pretty crazy. Right. I know we can talk about Stanley Matthews. I know we can talk about Georgie Best, who wasn't exactly right. We can talk about Michael Owen as the most recent one. I think you could say a Michael Owen in the modern era, although Kevin Keegan winning 2 in a row was pretty ridiculous for when he was at Hamburg back in the day. That was insane. But in the modern era, David Beckham finished second, right? Frank Lampard and Gerrard were second and third at one point. But Jude Bellingham and Harry Kane represent England's best chance to win it in a very, very long time. And I know 4 have won it, but in the modern era, it's just insane that England have not had more of a threat when it comes to the Ballon d'Or. So we'll see.
True. And let us know down below if you agree or disagree that an Englishman will be winning the Ballon d'Or, because that's a bold fact that you just ended right there. We will be talking in future podcasts more about the Ballon d'Or and who we think are the wonder kids that will be winning it in the next 3-5 years. But let us know down below who should be in that video and must be on it. Lamine Yamal, obviously, okay? He's still 16, people. He's still 16.